Matty, it's fantastic to see you. I bet the last couple of days have been a bit weird and a bit strange, bearing in mind that all your hopes and dreams are at the moment playing for Larne and scoring goals for Larne, and you managed to do both this weekend.
Yeah, it's been weird. I didn't really expect it, to be honest with you, but I'm loving it. So I'm just really happy that I got the chance to go on Saturday.
I mean, sitting here with a Larne crest on, you know how much that I love Larne as a football club and a place. I mean, it would be a dream come true for Tin and Lynch to say to me, "You're coming on, James. It's not going to happen to me." How did you feel when it happened to you, and what did Tin say?
To be honest, I was a bit surprised. I wasn't really expecting it when it happened because Ronan had just come on before me, and I was thinking, they might not bring on another forward. But when he told me to go warm up, I was just like, wow, this might actually happen here. So I was just focused on keeping it simple when I went on and try not to make too many mistakes and just enjoy it basically.
And in terms of the approach of that, do nerves play any sort of part, or once you cross the white line, is it then automatic because you're playing with people you know?
Um, I wasn't that nervous, to be honest. Because I've been training with everyone for a few months now, so I'm comfortable enough playing with them. I know how we like to play at Larne, and yeah, I wasn't too nervous. I was just excited.
And when the penalty happened, I was up on my feet. That's a penalty. Did you know instantly that it was a penalty and you were going to get it?
I was hoping because he did clip me, like, but when it happened, I just felt him clip my heel, and I had to go down.
Now you go down, you win the penalty, get the penalty, call it what you like. I guess you then imagine that someone else is going to take it, especially when you've got Ronan and you've got Dylan on hat
Yeah,
tricks. So explain what happened there, because it looked to me as though Ronan was happy about it, and Dylan maybe less so. Understandably, because strikers want to score
yeah.
goals, don't they?
Well, I think Dylan wanted it, like, but Ronan was good. He made sure that I got to take it, and Mark as well helped out to get the ball off Dylan. So I'm glad they did that.
But you imagine being a striker, you know exactly how he was feeling as well. It's not one of those things
Yeah,
that it's a
yeah,
problem. It's more, I'd love to score a hat trick at a club that I'm playing for, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. I'm very grateful that he
So
gave me
talk
the
me
ball.
talk me through the penalty, because you hit it where I'd hit it, which is straight down the middle as hard as I could. Was that what you were trying to do?
Yeah. To be honest, I was just trying to go safe. I didn't want to mess it up. So I tried to hit it high, and it went well.
How much are you enjoying being part of this Larn first team? I know a lot of people are saying very nice things about you because you've come through the academy kind of production line. But first and foremost, what's it like pulling on that shirt and being part of it?
I love it. It's the best thing that's happened to me in the last few years, and I'm just really enjoying it at the minute. I love training full time and getting the opportunity to play so often.
I noticed after the goal, a couple of players spent a bit longer than the other guys with you in terms of your car share mates. Tell me about
Yeah,
what it's like coming to
yeah.
training every day with those
Uh,
two, Josh and Andy.
Mitch and Josh were just happy for me, and yeah, they're just really good guys.
How does it work in the car? Who gets to choose the music, and where's the banter lie? Do you get a shout, or do you sit in the back quietly?
Um, I did. I did a couple of times, but I was on the music a couple of times with Josh, but it's usually just whoever's driving's on the music.
And in terms
But
of driving, the better driver of the two, Andy or Josh? Who do you feel safest
um,
with?
um, I'm gonna have to say Josh because I'm with him the most. But I think they're very similar drivers.
But in all seriousness, what's it like playing for the first team when you've come through that production line I talked about, but also when that production line is playing the same football that Tin and Lynch wants to play at first team level?
Yeah, I think definitely makes the transition easier when you're coming from the academy who are playing a similar style. So it definitely makes that easier, and I think it suits me as well because I'm not really a big player who likes to win headers and hold the ball up that much. I like to get down and get the ball down and play, so it suits me.
Yeah, and tell me a little bit about your journey, because you've got some big clubs on your CV in terms of Rangers, Liverpool, Glentoran. But you said it
Yeah,
yourself there. I know plenty of good players who were told they weren't big enough, they were too small,
yeah,
and then went on to
that did
people
happen to
run
me.
it.
Yes, happened a couple of times, but I was lucky to get over to experience it in England and Scotland and get trials. It definitely helped me, and just helped me see what it's like over there and being on my own, staying in digs and stuff like that. So it definitely helped me over there.
They told Paul Scholes that he was too small, and he proved an awful lot of people wrong. Does that become a motivation?
Yeah, no, I've read that it's happened to quite a few people. It doesn't really bother me anymore. But I've been working hard to try to get a bit bigger and get a bit stronger.
Yeah, Gary's been talking to me about the nutritionist Kirsty and also Mick. Everyone talks about Mick.
Yeah,
There seems to be a nice side of Mick and a horrible side of Mick, depending on how well you're doing.
no, Mick's class. He sorted me out with a full strength program, and he's helped me when I hurt my ankle as well. Yeah, he's brilliant and always helped me out.
Now, I've got a son that's doing his GCSEs at the moment and hoping to do as well as you did in your GCSEs. That was clearly a big
Yeah,
choice, not to go on to A levels, but to say, right, I want to play football.
yeah, it was a big decision, but I just thought, I might never get the chance again to go do this, because there's obviously nothing happening over in England or Scotland, so I wasn't going to get to play full time otherwise. And I thought, I could stay and do my A levels and train twice a week, but at the end of the day, I want to be a footballer, and I think that was probably one of the best decisions I've made in a
How
while.
how would you sum up how exciting it is at Larne, bearing in mind it's a club that's at the heart of the town, clearly, but things are really changing everywhere you look, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. Well, there's definitely a big future ahead of us. Hopefully, we can get into Europe this year, and I think that would be a great experience for everyone, and it would really help the club.
It
Be
just
good for
seems there's a lot more momentum and belief about the place. I mean, 3 wins on the bounce and scoring 8 goals in the last game helps, but it does seem something has clicked.
Yeah, definitely. I don't really think anything's changed too much. Everyone's always had the belief that they can do it. So yeah, we've been good recently, and hopefully it can continue.
I just wondered on Saturday when you took the ball for the penalty whether there's less pressure because fans aren't there, or there's more pressure because everyone's watching. I was watching. There's people in my WhatsApp group just desperate for you to score.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't feel as much pressure as I probably would have in a game where maybe it was closer, but I was still a bit nervous, yeah, because it was a big occasion for me.
And how good is the quality that's also coming through the academy? I mean, you're working with them or was working with them on a kind of daily basis. What's coming through and how good is it?
Yeah, really good. There's a few players there that I've played with previously at Glentoran and stuff, and we've always been in and around the same level. So there's definitely more to come from the academy.
And it does help, doesn't it, that you are playing in the same style at the lower levels in terms of age group as the
Yeah,
first team plays. It means you can slot in more easily, doesn't it?
yeah, yeah. Like I said, it makes the transition easier because you know what you're meant to do and how we're meant to play.
And tell me, and you can tell me because no one else is listening. Tiernan and Seamus, is it good cop, bad cop?
Yes, yeah, I'd say so. Yeah,
They've
yeah,
both got that stare, haven't they? If they need it,
yeah, yeah, definitely.
it's probably the time to introduce Gary. And Gary, I know you must be delighted with Matty and everything that he's achieved, but also that it shows people that this is a production line that works.
Yeah, 100%, James. We're all incredibly proud from Matty and what he did on Saturday. Like, he showed his quality and why we brought him to the club and why we worked so hard to try and recruit him to the club. It was a big decision for him, so it was to come on board. I know his mum and Joanne and Colin were spent a few sleepless nights worrying was it the right thing for him to do, but he showed a real desire to want to come into full-time football. He had a real hunger. He's had a great pedigree throughout his youth football, and again, like I say, some people maybe looked at his size and felt that was something that he was overlooked for that reason. But what he's done since he's come into the club is we've been managed to put that support system around him in terms of what he talked about, Mick with his strength and conditioning and Kirsty with his nutrition, to make sure we look after the whole round athlete as well as what we know he can produce on the pitch. So what we're trying to do is to make sure we cater for the player in his entirety, a holistic approach to how he's going to maximize his potential, I guess. And Matty's gone on and kicked on and shown the other boys that's sitting in the academy what's there for them and the potentials. And the manager believes in people and believes in the youth players. and if you're good enough, you'll get the opportunity.
Bearing in mind the way he's answered the questions, he clearly doesn't do nerves. He said he didn't do nerves going on the pitch. As a coach, are you nervous? Because you want it to work.
When I seen him get the ball, I was nervous for him. Like, do you know what I mean? I actually recorded a video and sent it to his dad straight after it happened. Like, do you mean? So I was nervous for him. Like, do you mean? But listen, the kid's showing great composure and that ever since he came in. He's always had an eye for goal. His record for the 20s before lockdown, I think he got 14 goals in 5 games or whatever it was now before lockdown, you know. So he knows how to score goals. That was always a knack, I suppose, going into the first team environment. And exposing him to that level, like, I mean, that's what Matty needed, and that's what really kicked him on to another level. You know, he was brilliant amongst his peers, amongst the kids his own age and everything else, but really taking him out of that comfort zone was the only real way of finding out, is he capable of actually stepping up the levels. And the kid's done fantastic from the day he stepped into the first team. You know, the people like you talk about, Mitch and Josh, taking him under his wing and really looking after him and sort of and guiding him and protecting him a little bit, but he's earned the boys' respect. He earned the minutes. It's not a PR stunt. It wasn't anything other than that. There, Matty sat on the bench for the last 4 or 5 games waiting for the opportunity. You know, the opportunity came on Saturday, and boy, did he grab it with both hands.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one. I mean, I'm Team Dylan in the sense of that hat trick thing. I would have grabbed the ball and said, right, so I understood it completely. But all credit to Ronan for not doing that, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think Mark played a part too. Dylan certainly was hungry for goals. And again, like any young, good striker, he wants to put the ball in the back of the net. He wants the goals against his name. But I suppose it shows you what the boys think of Matty and the esteem he sort of held in. They seen it was a big moment for him, like, you mean? And you could talk about the penalty that he scored, and he won himself. But he also produced 2 assists in the game as well, like, you know what I mean, where he beat the man on the outside, took him down the line and crossed the ball in, and he showed a great level to his game, and he's just not an out-and-out goal scorer. He can create opportunities for other players too.
Just a final point to you, Gary, before we return to Matty. I mean, you've played the game, you know the value of this. In terms of the other younger players who suddenly see a guy they've played with playing for the first team, they suddenly realise all the promises are right and it's not just words, don't they?
Well, that's the bigger thing, James, that we when we make a commitment to these kids now and to their parents, I suppose, as well, is we want to make sure that we can stand over what it is we're telling them. We want to make sure not there that we undersell it a little bit and over deliver. You know, that's always been our mantra. Like, I mean, we do have a feeling like of a close club, and that they're a community club. We want to galvanise and get round our people, and that there our players work and mix within a community. So they do, you know, they're part of this community now, and we're making sure not there, like, I mean, that we look after the people that's in that. Matty came into this year and I suppose it was a big gamble for him to do that. Matty he's a bit modest there, like, I mean, but he's sitting with GCSEs coming out of his ears with A's and A stars. So he's a very intelligent boy, and to come away from higher education to go into a promise of full-time football with no promises, I suppose, of first team football. But we really believed in him, and the manager's showing the faith that he has in young players. And what it really needs to do is actually motivate the rest of the guys in our academy, because I personally believe there's another 4 or 5 guys in that within their academy that we have currently that will be knocking on the door in the next 12 months. And it's up to them to see Matty as the benchmark now.
Gary, thanks very much. I look forward to seeing you in Inver very, very soon. And just finish off with Matty. Matty, how were Mum and Dad this weekend after that?
My dad was buzzing.
He played a bit as well, didn't he? He played and then went on to play rugby, didn't he?
Yeah, he did play, but I think he got left out of a squad and just give it up. So he played rugby instead. But
how were they? Because parents do big nerves at every occasion for their children. They would have been nervous just watching you.
Yeah, my dad said he couldn't even watch the penalty when it was happening, so yeah, he must have been nervous. But yeah, he was buzzing for me. He's really happy.
And in terms of the rest of the season, I guess it's just, you know, Gary's talked about the GCSEs and learning, but this is a different learning, isn't it? When you think you've got, you know, Carrick coming up, you've got Linfield, you've then got playoffs and potentially, as you said, you know, European football. A lot could happen in the next few weeks, couldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. We've got a really good opportunity here to push up the league table and get Europe as well as the cup. So we just need to keep working hard and hopefully the chance will come for us.
But that was a game against Dollingstown I don't think you'll ever forget, will you?
No, definitely not. Definitely not.